All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, September the 16th. Welcome to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I'm Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me on social media at Barrett Gruber. This is Bill Kimler, host of Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks. You can follow him at politicalbillsc. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Barrett.
How are you?
A little grumpy.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't want to get into my first question until I understand why you're grumpy, because it could feel like a bit of a setup, and then
Well, I'm drinking coffee today, black, and I don't like black. I like with my flavored creamer. I get a little bit of cinnamon flavoring creamer, and it's how I like my coffee. But today I have to drink it black because I'm doing the whole fasting thing before blood work, which is not until this afternoon. So I got to be starving Marvin from now until about 1:30 when I got to get the blood drawn.
Are you going the entire day fasting up until your blood work?
You got to go like 8 hours or so. And so the clock has started. And of course, I just woke up because we record at this ungodly hour. But I'm not hungry. I just am having coffee I don't like. I don't like black coffee. That's just not me.
Okay.
And I got to get this blood work done because, and I don't know if your company does it, but in order to qualify for certain health insurance discounts, which are substantial, like $2,000 discounts, you have to take some biometric tests that test your blood pressure, but then you also got blood work to do your carbohydrates and lipids and glucose levels and all these other things. Tests that I have failed every year for 25 years of doing this. And I always get the doctor to sign a waiver to like excuse me from the principal's office. But I have to jump through these hoops in order to qualify for this $2,000 health incentive. And the number increases every year because health insurance increases every year. So it's a substantial amount of money. If I don't do this, then I don't qualify, and I get more money taken out of my check every other week.
Yeah.
It's just a horrible, horrible process. I am a 90-year-old man. And I'm not going to qualify with the same metrics that they apply to a 25-year-old individual.
That's fair.
It's ridiculous, right? As you get older, your body's slowing down, things change. And so I don't know why we got to be held to these stupid standards. I do waist measurements. You gotta meet 3 out of 5 requirements or improve 10% over last year.
Oh.
Now, I'm not going to lose 10% of my weight. Right. So I'm not going to lose 10% of my waist circumference. I'm an old man. It's not going to happen. I'm here podcasting at 5:30 in the morning. I'm not running. I'm not on a rowing machine like some people are. That's not me. And so, I'm grumpy drinking black coffee and fasting until I got to get my blood work drawn this afternoon. And therefore I'm grumpy.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really
segue. Then we're out of time. Good show.
I certainly feel for you. And 90, for a 90-year-old, you don't look bad. No, my company doesn't do any of that. They have, that's not to say that it isn't coming. I think the likelihood is that it probably will eventually come, and we will have to justify the insurance rates that we have by going through similar tests. I do a physical every year anyway. I have 2 doctor's appointments every year. I have one for my physical and then one for my blood pressure, whatever. So, the likelihood is that my company will eventually move into that. Maybe not necessarily for the savings for the company, but potentially more because our premiums have gone up the past couple of years, and we haven't seen, and this isn't, I'm not whining or complaining. I'm happy to have a job that pays me as well as it does for as little importance of the work that I do. But I think the likelihood is that they're probably looking for some savings some places. So they allow the premium to go up, but they'll allow you to have a discount on your premium if you take these tests and prove that you're semi-healthy. So
that's another thing I'm grumpy about. Thank you for bringing that up. So the company I work for, I've got a good job too. It gives me a lot of flexibility to change my schedule if needed, and I'm working with a global company. So I'm on the phone with Japan at 5 a.m. sometimes. I'm on the phone in the evening with California. Flexible, good pay. I'm happy. Then my boss decides to throw an appointment on my calendar that says quick chat. Now, our company just went through a downsizing. And I'm like, oh, crap. What's quick chat? What is that? There's no agenda. There's no subject. And then he cancels it and moves it to the next day. Then he canceled that and moved it to Monday. Then he canceled that. Then we finally met. And you know what it was? Because I was telling my wife, hey, it's time for me to start looking for a new job. After years with this company, it's finally hit this company. It's a tech firm. So, it's volatile right now. No, the guy wants to give me more responsibilities and promote me to oversee a group.
Hey.
I was like, no, I don't want that.
No,
he's telling me, oh, it'll be good for my career, look good on the resume, good career advancement. I'm a 90-year-old man, I said. I said, I don't need to worry about it. I've already been CIO of a billion-dollar company. I don't need to prove anything to anybody at this point. I'm not looking for my future. My kids are through college. I'm just biding time until retirement, which should have been, according to my math, 15 years ago.
I'm out here watching. I'm watching the surfers from my board. I'm not necessarily participating in the actual surfing. I get it.
I don't need it.
I will say that one of my biggest complaints, and I know that for my coworkers that would potentially going to see this, especially the ones in India, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I get either an email or a Teams chat where all it says is, "Hi, good morning."
Oh, QC. Yeah. I blocked that person.
Can you?
Good morning. Hello.
Can you not get? Okay. So the greeting, I'm okay with the greeting.
No, but that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just, and you're waiting, and they're waiting for you to say hello back, and
they
don't realize technology does not require a response. This isn't the telephone.
Yeah.
Right.
It's. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when I just get a message that says hi, or they followed up with quick call or quick chat or whatever. And I always message them back, hey, what's up? Kind of busy. What's going on? And then they go, oh, just a quick 2-minute call. No, tell me what you want to talk about, because if it's a 2-minute call, that means that someone has in this relationship now has made a decision that this call is only going to be 2 minutes. I need to be as efficient as possible. What is it about? I need preparedness. Never happens. There's a weird communication gap between my expectations and what the rest of the world has. Because it's not just my overseas partners and resources. It's people in the country, in the United States, English speaking, whatever. It feels, I want people to value my time as much as I value my time.
Right.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. I value your time too.
Did you watch the Emmys over the weekend?
Did not.
No. And tell me if I'm pronouncing this name incorrectly, because the host, Nate Barrett, the comedian that does the Washington skit on SNL. I
don't watch SNL either. Oh. So, well, nope, I appreciate you sharing your notes ahead of time with me here so we can coordinate our views here. But I don't watch the Emmys. I don't watch SNL.
Well, maybe you heard about some of this. So Nate Barrett, he was hosting the Emmys this year, and the Emmys apparently came to him and asked him to come up with a way that they could get the Emmys completed in 3 hours, because a lot of the time it runs over. And for some of the Emmys asking if you and I are okay, like our relationship's okay. I assume we're okay, right, Bill? We're okay. Anyway.
Well, I mean, the physical side of our relationship has deteriorated over time, and I'm kind of upset, and maybe we should seek counseling. But other than that, fine.
I'm gonna blame age. Yeah. I blame age. So anyway, so the Emmys wanted Nate Barrett to get the Emmys down to time. He came up with a rule, which was a 45-second rule. Everyone who won an award would have 45 seconds to thank whoever it was they were going to, but then they had to get off the stage. And the way he did that was an incentive where he had set up a $100,000 donation to the Boys and Girls Club of America. But for every second, a winner, Bergazzi. Okay, Bergazzi. Sorry.
Bergazzi. I have that car. It's a good car. Yeah, I take it.
so so for every second they go over, $1,000 would be deducted. For every second under, $1,000 would be added back to the total, bringing it back up to $100,000. Apparently, in at some point, and I didn't watch the Emmys, but during the Emmys, it worked its way all the way to like $20,000 from
Ooh,
100,000, and
ooh.
he had a big board showing exactly what it was. But in the end, he donated $250,000 to the Boys and Girls Club. CBS donated another $100,000, and so a $350,000 donation over the weekend to the Boys
So
and Girls
as
Club.
these mouths are chatting away, they can see they're taking money
Oh yeah,
away from needy children.
oh yeah.
Wow, that says a lot. That
It's
is a huge message. I
like
would rather have 10 more seconds of speech than let these kids have a place to go out of the, the urban areas and the violent crime neighborhoods to be safe. I'd rather speak for 10 more seconds.
yeah, it was
Mm.
crazy.
To be
I
honest, I'm actually surprised that we're on the air. I mean, after your last episode of the All About Nothing podcast, I could have sworn you were going to be canceled and
it's
not be allowed to broadcast.
you know what? So I had people at work that messaged me and said, "Hey, I saw the episode." He said, or I listened to the episode today that came out yesterday." And he doesn't necessarily agree with me on politics, but he said that he felt more comfortable with how Zach and I expressed our opinions about everything that went
Oh
on.
yeah, but when you got to the end of that episode, though, it was getting very uncomfortable. The wheels were starting to come off the the
That's
respectable train there.
look, it's going to happen. We start drinking at the beginning of the episode. By the end, we're sloshed. But yeah, just I don't know. I've had so many up and down emotions about the whole thing that I think I'm still trying to find my center. And ultimately, I feel like because of the Republicans' reaction to Charlie Kirk, and then you have the left and the Democrats' reaction. They're not balanced whatsoever. Like I have not seen I don't know where these people are getting the information about the left wing being so radical and enjoying and anything that is being said like on Newsmax and Fox News. And uh, I'm not seeing any of that, but I am seeing the reaction to it coming from up as high as the president, being that they're identifying left wing ideology as a terrorist organization. I feel we're probably only a few weeks away from the president basically calling the Democrat Party a terrorist organization or
It's
a domestic
exactly
terrorist.
what happened in Nazi Germany when Hitler rose as chancellor. They outlawed the opposition party. After
Yep.
they had a similar series of disastrous, quote unquote, disastrous events that seemed very suspicious, and the result was an outlawing of all opposition parties. You couldn't be following this playbook more directly.
Yeah. It's it's a little frightening to think, but I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but if any if
Those
any
are famous last words.
yeah, if any administration was going to do it, I feel like the dumbest administration is the right one. The Donald Trump administration would be the right one to try and pull something off like this, because you got to admit they trip over their feet almost every single step they make. There isn't of all of the 7,000 executive orders that he's already signed, 6,958 of them have gone to court and have been shut down. Like it's a constant, and I know what it is. He's doing it so that it gets headlines, so that it distracts away from Epstein, or it distracts away from uh you know his ties to the Russian P tape, or whatever. There's always something that needs to be distracted. His cankles, or the fact that he's
Be careful.
in
He
some
just
sort of,
launched a $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times yesterday.
yeah, I saw that.
So, yeah, you gotta be careful. He may come after your $15.
I think that's silly. I don't think the New York Times is worth $15 billion. But
Yeah.
again, I think he only does these things because it makes him look like he's strong to the people that love and adore him, and they
How is
want
it that a
him.
guy who dances like this is considered a strong guy? Like, in what world do we live in where that's considered alpha male material?
He's an elderly old man. Like there's no strength to him. I think people have made an assumption that because he weighs 285 pounds and looks fat, that okay, see, now I'm getting angry. But I'm just dumbfounded. He doesn't look strong. He looks weak. He falls asleep at his own birthday party. He falls asleep in cabinet meetings. He falls asleep at his desk. Like, this is an old man that's on so much Adderall, allegedly, that he's up all night long and can't maintain that through the course of the day. It looked like he had a stroke last week, or was it some ballsy something, I don't know, whatever.
Palsy. Some sort of
Palsy.
palsy. Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like he had a slip, and
Some ballsy palsy.
I don't understand. I did want to ask you a question, because I have been accused of being a masochist.
Yep, guilty.
Yeah. How do you wash your face? Purely out of curiosity.
How? Like,
yeah,
soap, water?
Yeah. But
washcloth?
How do you do it? Bell's palsy. Thank you. Yeah. Washcloth. Do you do it in the shower?
I do.
Do you let the water hit you in the face when you're rinsing and pre-wash?
Okay, this is getting a little weird. Do you want me to send you video of me showering next?
Nope, not asking.
Where are we heading with this?
I'm just curious, because like no one in my family will wash their face, letting the water hit their face.
Well, I mean, I use soap, wash rag in the shower, wet. I will rub it over my face with the soap and water. I will let the water rinse it off.
Yeah, but the water's hitting you directly in the face.
Where else how can you rinse it off if it's not hitting you in the face?
Great question. I have no idea, because it doesn't work for me. Like I will stand there in the shower with the water hitting my face, sometimes just to wake myself up, but hitting me pretty consistently in the face for minutes.
Okay.
And my family thinks that's incredibly weird, that to allow the water to hit my face. There's a genuine fear of the water in their face or something. It doesn't make sense to me. But that's why I think that I would be a perfect candidate. And I'm maybe throwing this out here, Bill. Would you like to waterboard me?
Sure, Barrett.
All right.
Whatever gets you off.
We'll set that up. I don't know. It just seems weird. Like I've grown up my entire life. I have washed my face with, or I've allowed for the shower to hit my face the entire time. I don't understand.
That's a weird superpower flex you're bragging about,
Isn't it?
Your Captain Waterboard. You can see the CIA and secret ops taking you in, and they're dunking in the water. You're coming out giggling every time they do it, and frustrating the government sources there. And
yeah,
man, I can see it.
There's got to be some value to it.
You can topple the bad guys just by not being bothered by having water in your face. That is a definite superhero. That's a next James Gunn film.
Me, Homelander, and Batman.
Yeah.
I saw that the South Carolina.
No, we're not leaving this topic. I want to know how the hell your family washes their face. If they don't let water hit their face, then how are they washing it? What's the technique that the Gruber family endorses?
So I don't know for certain. I have never like when my children were when the girls were babies and smaller, we washed their face. I washed their face for them. And now I'm not entirely certain if they do it at all, or maybe if they just, Ami says some people let it go in their hands and they splash their face with the water. Like I don't mind running water streaming over my eyes. It doesn't bother me. I'm telling you, I'm not from this damn planet. I don't think I am.
No, I'm thinking the rest of the world's weird. I cannot imagine every movie you see of a shower scene, people are getting water in their face and they're just moaning in pleasure. I mean, what is this? What are we talking about where that's not the normal way to do it?
The moaning in pleasure is kind of an odd way for I don't know if I
Well,
can
that's the
accept that one.
movies. I'm not saying that that's what I do or you do necessarily,
Oh.
but that's, you see it in the movies. They
I'm not
enjoy it.
shaming. I'm not. Look, no kink shaming here. I'm not gonna. I mean, not from me. I'll let you do whatever you want, Bill. That's
AI is just going to give up when it tries to create the summary of this
absolutely.
episode. It's
So
going to say, listen,
So speaking of bathrooms, the South Carolina Supreme Court decision on anti-trans bathroom policy. It sounds like they denied an emergency request from South Carolina to enforce that law, which would punish schools if they allowed transgender students to use bathrooms aligning with their gender identity. Said the Fourth Circuit had already blocked enforcement before. So what does that mean? I guess if the Supreme Court's denied an emergency request, then they just wait for the next session of the Supreme Court to try and submit it, or
I mean, they can, because there's no such thing as precedent in Supreme Court anymore. And there wasn't an official ruling. It was just a denial to hear. So, who knows? I just find the whole rallying cry of bathroom usage to be an odd flex, because logically it makes no sense. So
yeah,
you take the Nancy Maces or whoever, and they think it's men who put on wigs running into women's bathrooms because they can get off looking at women use the bathroom, right? They think that that's what's going on. They think that because men are attracted to women, they'll wear a costume, run in there, and be attracted to whatever they see goes on in the restroom. But then you look they don't mention the normal uh, gay or lesbian population. If you're a gay man and you walk into a men's room, nobody's going to complain. Yet, as a gay man, you're attracted to other men. Wouldn't they be just as upset over that scenario? Or if you're a gay woman, you walk into a ladies' room and you're attracted to women in there, theoretically. Now, it's not like you're attracted to everybody you see, but wouldn't that, by logic, their logic anyway, why wouldn't they be as upset over that and then have to do sexuality checks at the bathroom?
I have a
Yeah.
theory on that. So respectively, or as respectably as I can be about this, um, Republican senators and House congressmen that speak out the most against homosexuality tend to be the ones that wind up having some sort of um, news article or allegations of things that they have done. And sometimes some of those, Henry Hyde, Lindsey Graham, these are things that occur in the bathroom. And I think that for the most part, the homosexual Republican section, or the homosexuals in the Republican Party, are the ones that won't bring attention to homosexual men in straight men bathrooms. Like, and maybe they just think
Straight,
it's
like,
absurd.
think of that phrase, in straight men bathrooms.
Yeah,
What is that, right? That's what they want.
But by definition, I think Republican men, regardless of their sexuality, think that they are straight men. Like I said, Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, Henry
Tim
Hyde.
Scott's married. He's pure red-blooded alpha male.
Yeah, so are lots of
Forgot
men.
that.
I have friends who are gay men that are married to women. So, it's some of them, it's a protective thing, or they have found a relationship that works for them, that allows for them to, and they're open, but that allows for them to at least have the safety of that marriage under this country and everything that seems to be going wrong with it. But I this whole bathroom thing is absurd, because how many transgender children do they think there are?
Yeah.
Like, I need some sort of proof of numbers.
It's a
And
weird
not
rallying cry, not just for the representatives, but for the voters that rally with them on this
yeah,
issue. You have a choice between worrying about which bathrooms children use or childhood poverty, childhood health care, children being fed. You don't hear peeps out of them over that. It's about what bathroom should they use. And it's a bizarre thing. And it becomes one of their top issues. You listen to every one of the South Carolina gubernatorial candidates, 5 of them, they all came out, and in their opening speech, they either mentioned men playing in women's sports or men using women's bathrooms. Those were 2 of their top issues among everything else that's wrong in South Carolina
Yeah.
that was in every one of their speeches. And it's a bizarre thing. Like, I want to go back to the 60s and just tell some of the respected leaders there, hey, this is what your successors are going to be talking about in 60, 65 years. What do you think?
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, what the F has happened to our country?
Oh, I've got to believe that at some point, even sooner than that, I think that there is going to be an awakening of sorts that is uh, going to crash hard for these people that are so into the conspiracy theories and so into uh, really enjoying how divided the country is. I think that there's going to be a disastrous awakening for those people.
Oh, good segue. Speaking of the awakening, do we have an announcement to make?
We can definitely make that tomorrow morning, the official launch of the Awakening podcast with Heather and Tamara. Tamara? Tamara.
I'll go with Tamara.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tamara too. But yeah, so brand new podcast coming to the Big Media Network. In Big Media LLC Independent Podcast Network. We're going to have to add some words to the title.
Oh, good Lord. I know there's 500 big medias out there, by the way. So I don't know how you acquired that name, but man, you do a Google search, and because I keep forgetting the website, and I end up in weird places on the internet. There's a lot of big medias.
Well, yeah. So no, bigmediallc.com. The Awakening podcast kicks off tomorrow morning. As soon as that podcast publishes, I'll go in and make all the setting adjustments so that it will distribute to all of the podcasts across the podcast verse. I did not listen to the episode just yet. I started listening to it, but I was like, no, I want to wait because I want to make sure that I'm one of the numbers. but
Right.
But basically, Heather and Tamara are or Tamara. Anyway, are religious trauma survivors, and their podcast is going to be discussing religious trauma surviving and having guests that have also survived religious trauma. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be very good. I think that the likelihood
I'm excited. I'm excited for this latest addition to this growing empire. And how about the other secret endeavor you might be working on? Is that still under
it's still in the
discussions?
works.
That's amazing.
I've had about 5 text messages back and forth trying to coordinate when we can actually talk. But hoping that's going to come up. The All About Nothing podcast is we've got a brand new advertiser that is going to be coming online as soon as
that's something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Can I just tell you how weird it is to pop in the All About Nothing podcast and hear my voice opening up the damn show? Like, I feel almost like I'm being taken advantage of. So I recorded this commercial a year ago, right?
Nobody wants to hear about this, Bill.
And now I'm hearing my voice come back at me from this podcast of yours that I downloaded. I'm thinking, where is my residuals? It's my voice? It's my talent. And I got to hear myself being used for free to hawk somebody else's business. They're making thousands off of my voice, and I'm getting nothing. So that's kind of weird.
Bill, if you'll check your contract, I can put you back in the box at any point. Look,
ZJGdesigns.com.
Of all the crazy things,
you know how hard it is to say that name?
It is
ZJZ.
ZJZdesigns.com.
It was about 5 hours worth of takes trying to get that commercial right because you couldn't put 3 letters together that were more difficult to say.
I blame her parents.
Oh. ZZZ. Like, come on. You can't do it.
Yeah, no, I am excited about the awakening. The All About Nothing podcast is also going to have a special Friday episode release this week, and that is coming up Friday, where I sat down with the I guess the CEO of the United Way for Kershaw County to talk about their campaign to raise donations for 2026. We got to talk about how the Doge cuts made an impact to them this year.
Did you ask them how they wash their face? I'm curious.
No, I will say this. I think there's a good possibility that he has And I'll just give you a little prelude. Um, this man, I don't know how old he is, but he talked about how he has 40-year-old sons, and he and his wife have been married for 46 years. He looks younger than me,
Ooh,
and but
ooh.
you look younger than me. Although in the comments, the number of people that think that you look like Zelensky
I
is
know that that is something. Now, first of all, I'm much taller than Zelensky, but if that's the world leader I need to be compared to, okay,
that's not a bad take.
okay. They're not saying I look like Putin. They're not saying I look like the King of England, King Charles. They're not saying I look like the Pope. They're saying I look like Zelensky. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll take that.
yeah. No, that's not bad. So although I think on the comparison of you and Zelensky, that's probably where we need to wrap it up today because it just goes downhill from there. Big thanks for everybody tuning in. Don't forget you can follow me at Barrett Gruber and Bill at politicalbillsc. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on all of these social media platforms. So until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.